Welcome to What the Health. This podcast will have real conversations about health minus the complicated jargons. I am Dr. Apurva and we'll be sitting down with the experts from the fraternity talking about everything related to wellness, right from nutrition, fitness, mental health to prevention. You must be here to learn something new or just to be informed, but you're at the right place. So let's get started. Our guest today is someone who's transformed thousands of lives through lifestyle nutrition. Meet Indu Ramani. She's a lifestyle nutritionist who uses food and supplementation to help heal from the root cause. She specializes in children's nutrition, gut health, and helping people achieving balance in their life. She's trained over 60,000 individuals from some of the biggest organizations in emotional intelligence and behavioral sciences. And today she's here to help us understand why nutrition and supplementation are becoming essential for our modern lifestyles. Welcome, Indu ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Apurva, for having me.
So, to begin with, let's talk about prevention and how supplementation helps in prevention.
These days, the food we eat and the lifestyle we have, the soil depletion, the pesticides in our agricultural systems, all this actually has taken away the nutrition from our food. The food that we eat on our plate fills up our stomach, definitely. But the lifestyle and the junk food that we eat outside, maybe because we don't have time or because we're tempted to eat the variety, it really doesn't give us the nutrition per se. So the body is always deficient and looking for more. And that's where supplementation becomes mandatory. But you need to be careful. You need to make sure your supplements are from the organic store and are really benefiting your body and not adding further damage.
So I just wanted to ask, why supplements becoming such an essential part nowadays? And I mean, earlier तो कभी supplementation का हमने नाम भी नहीं सुना था. अभी every second person is talking about supplementation. So how it is suddenly gained up so much importance?
आप अपनी दिनचर्या देखो ना. I mean, from morning to night, the amount of food that you eat and the nutrition per se in each meal that you are having. The nutrients in every food is very less. That's why you need to supplement it. Morning, if you've eaten just a bowl of cereal, okay, we think we have eaten a holistic meal, but is it full of calories, sugar and all, or is it really nutrient full? That's the question we need to ask, and that's what we simply try, whether we need supplements or not.
Absolutely true. I mean, many a times we feel that we are having a healthy, nutritious meal, but does it actually has those nutrients? Is a question.
Yeah, and holistic one. All the nutrients are not there. So that's why we need supplements.
So, what are the most common deficiencies you see nowadays, and how do they affect in long term?
It's sad that even in a country like India, we see vitamin D is a hugely deficient thing. Every blood report you see, there will be B12 deficiency, there will be iron deficiency. I mean, hemoglobin is low, vitamin D is a big cause. So these deficiencies are hugely impacting our health. If your vitamin D is low, then your bone issues, arthritis, heart issues, all this show up. If you're B12 deficient, then your muscle loss is huge. You can't really repair your muscles. And if you're iron deficient, if your hemoglobin is low, obviously you're anemic, you're going to be feeling weak, tired, lethargic. But the stress is constantly building up. The demands from our life are huge. We want to be constantly productive. We want to do 10 things, but input is very less and our body is suffering from deficiency. And that's what actually causes diseases.
Actually, I totally agree to that, ma'am, because vitamin D and B12 deficiencies are seen in every second or the fourth patient that we do general full body checkup. So it's very commonly seen. And as the symptoms are not seen easily, people don't concentrate on that.
We don't even really check unless we tell them to get us a blood report. People don't think that they're having major hair loss Maybe because vitamin D is low, or
Yeah.
they are constantly fatigued because their iron is low. They don't even think through like that.
True, true, absolutely true. So, Indu ma'am, how can someone start making small preventive changes in their daily routine? What do you feel? I mean, any tips that you can give?
Oh, yes. I think the first thing, not just first, there are four things which I personally believe in a big way. One is, are you drinking water regularly? People don't measure. Whenever I speak to somebody, they say, मैं बहुत पानी पीती हूँ. And when I ask them to really start measuring, it's not more than 4 to 5 glasses a day, which is very, very less. Then sleep. Most of the people, the clients that I deal with, they are sleep deficient. I think social media is one of the reasons, because people are on screen till late night. After having worked the entire day, evening when they are relaxed, that's when they want to scroll. And scrolling takes away so much of your time, and then you don't feel sleepy at all because your brain is activated. So sleep deficiency is another big cause, and I feel people need to really start monitoring it. That am I getting my minimum 6 to 7 hours of proper sleep? These two are first big changes. Third big change that I feel people need to make is mindfully brush at night. People don't brush their teeth at night. They're so exhausted, they're so complacent, they say chalta hai, just because I've gargled and that's enough. No, that's not enough, because it completely hijacks the repair system at night. So you need to brush. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take any effort. You just need to make that a habit, like you do it in the morning. That's a huge change that you should make. And mindfully eating. And when you are eating, please just eat, not like multitask. A lot of people I see, they're on the phone, working, answering their mails, and just gulping something. No, I think we all can afford to take those 10 minutes, 15 minutes off and mindfully enjoy, relish what we are eating. That will increase our absorption. These are a couple of changes I can quickly think of that
So, I
one
mean,
must
I
make.
totally agree that these four changes, I mean, there is no cost involved in it. Anybody can easily adopt it and should adopt it, so that, they themselves will see the change happening. It is a smaller, minor change, but definitely they can see the difference soon.
Absolutely. And we've seen it with so many clients, we've seen it. They think big diagnosis is required or big change is required, but these small changes have started to give them happiness and feeling better. And then it's a vicious cycle. When you're feeling better, you'll eat joyfully. When you eat joyfully, your absorption is better. When your absorption is better, you're feeling better. So it's like a vicious cycle.
Yes, yes. So, Indu ma'am, now next, the time is for some thoughtful experiments. Let's explore what ifs related to nutrition and see what happens.
Sure.
Yeah. So, first, what if every child has access to right nutrition from birth? How different would it be with respect to their mental and physical health as compared to adults?
In fact, I would go one step further. Every child, even before their birth, if the mother has taken the right kind of nutrition, I mean, they are getting the nutrition in their womb itself. I've seen so much difference. I've had cases where the mother was very, very short, and when she conceived, doctors were worried, and we were all worried. But I focused on the mother's nutrition, and the child born was so healthy and beautiful. And today, that child is a nurse herself,
Oh,
tall and
wow.
beautiful. So many children I've seen, when they are nutriently rich, when they've had sufficient nutrition in their growing up stages, they can cope with the competition better, they can cope with stress better. Education, studying is happy for them, they enjoy studying. They may not like a particular subject, and that's fine, but overall they enjoy the growing up. They are not forever chirchira, or they're not hollow inside. Most of the children, they are very anxious during examinations. We think it's the examination load, but it's actually the nutritional deficiency, which is not letting them cope with the pressure. Pressure is gonna be there always, right from school to your till your
Absolutely.
death. When will you not have the pressure? but do you have the bandwidth to cope with it? That bandwidth comes from nutrition, not from full stomach. Like we eat, but we don't measure whether it's nutritionally rich. That's what I mean.
So just to add to this, Indu ma'am, I feel that as a kid, the mothers, the grandparents, everybody, constantly ye kha, wo kha, aise kha. But we don't understand that खाना पेट भरने के लिए या कोई अंडरवेट है तो वजन बढ़ाने के लिए नहीं, but it should be nutrient full also.
Absolutely.
And if there is a nutrient gap, then there are actually supplements for building this gap at such young level also.
Yes, there are. In fact, a lot of things you can do at home mindfully, so that you make sure, for example, every household insists on child drinking a glass of milk. Okay, not every child likes it. Then we keep buying those sugar rich, chocolate flavored,
Mixers, yes.
mixers, but we don't really read the label and see whether they have the nutrients or they only have the sugar and the malt. That's a huge gap. But a lot of, like, you can make homemade nuts based powdered mixers. They're very tasty, yet the nutrition has been added.
Correct.
Even like we hear a lot about wheat. Yes, agricultural gaps are there. I don't want to go that lane right now for that discussion. But basically, it's the genetically modified wheat which causes a lot of problem. But then if you are taking bhakri, and if you, like I do it at home, grate a carrot or mix some veggie in it, mix some nuts in it, some seeds in it, it becomes nutritionally very, very rich. We know child is going to eat just one. Why not make it rich in nutrition?
True. Indu ma'am, what if supplements become a part of daily routine, like health checkups, or like we check our blood pressure, or like we check our cholesterol level? So, if nutrients are a part of our daily routine, how will it affect?
Oh, it will make your life easy. We're constantly trying to save ourselves from sickness. We hear the word immunity, we hear all this. People are very conscious about immunity check, and they're very mindful that, okay, I should be stronger. But the result is going to come only when when your input is accordingly, like, and that's gonna happen when you are mindfully adding nutrition in your diet daily. And that's where daily check, or like weekly check, or for example, we've all grown up on candies, nothing wrong with it. But my children had a box, and through the week, whatever candies they got, they kept collecting, and on Saturday or a Sunday, they were allowed to eat a few from there. So this was like a weekly check, like how much sugar is going, without really making them conscious. Because life has to be enjoyed, life has to be lived. I was listening to one doctor speaking, and I really agree with her, wherein she was telling even the cancer patients who are recovering, and she was telling them that everybody will tell you, don't eat this, don't eat that, eat boiled veggies, eat soups. No, enjoy your meals. Food is the ultimate thing that gives you joy. And that's why you see every festival, everything that we want to celebrate is around food. You have a victory, the first thing you want to do is buy a box full of sweets. You want to enter home with food. Nothing wrong with that. Food gives you emotional high. And I've already explained how it's a vicious cycle. Food gives you that kick, but you can't be really eating samosas every day. That's where you need to check. So if you know a festival is coming, then maybe you need to be more mindful about calculating the nutrients and planning your meals accordingly. Today, of course, mothers are working, so every morning they can't be thinking and planning, okay, what can I cook so that my family gets enough nutrition. What I used to do is I used to have a weekly timetable on my fridge. So even if I was touring, my support system, whoever was cooking on that day knew what is going to be cooked. It's not that my children have not eaten breads. They've loved sandwiches they've eaten, but we've made sure they've eaten once a week, not like every day. So that was a way of calculating that they're getting every kind of veggie, every kind of fruit, every kind of complex carb in a week. And it should be done. And then, of course, when you take a blood check, when you do the blood test and you see what are the deficiencies, you have to be very, very mindful. And if your hemoglobin is low, of course, you need to eat pomegranate. You need to add some kishmish in your diet on a daily basis. You need to focus on dates. You need to be mindful. But you know what, Dr. Apurva, I love nature. I'm sure all of us do. And nature has been so kind. I think any amount of gratitude is less because nature has given us nutritionally rich fruits, veggies, food accordingly. Why do we get mangoes in summers and oranges in winters? I mean, if we just have to think properly, we will know. Nature has given us all the answers. Having learned to preserve these fruits and then eat them off season is where we have gone wrong. So we just need to go back to our traditions, go back to why is it in January we have Tilgur festival? Because we want, that's a way of feeding sesame seeds and jaggery to everyone. We celebrate भी हो गया, सबके पेट में भी चला गया, हेल्थ भी बन गई, खुश भी हो गए, एंड उसके साइड इफेक्ट्स भी नहीं हुए. वही तिल गुड़ आप गर्मियों में खिला दो, बैंड बच जाएगी.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I would say, Indu ma'am, that instead of saying कि ये मत खाओ वो मत खाओ, ये कितना आप खा सकते हो या ये इसका quantity decide कर सकते. We can have a literally a discussion in the family that okay, this is thing कि ये हम once in a week खा सकते हैं. I mean, I would agree to that. My 5-year-old kid likes biscuits, but he knows it's not good for him. तो rationing है उसका सिर्फ Sunday को ही उसको गिन के इतने मिलते हैं. So he is happy. He knows कि ये मुझे Sunday के दिन मिलेगा. So instead of telling them कि ये मत खाओ और वो मत खाओ, then they feel that अरे मुझे कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा है. I'm not able to enjoy.
Yes.
So instead of that, this is a good option. I mean, it's the same thing but put up in a different way.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what if we stop labeling foods as good and bad and focus on balanced diets?
Yeah, we've kind of already discussed that. Balance is all about being aware. For example, you can't be eating rice in all the 3 meals. You need to segregate that. You can't be eating breads in all the 3 meals. So you can't be eating salads all the time. You can't be eating soups all the time. So balance is you designing your diet and then going with it.
And I mean, a right takeaway I would say कि if you are busy, if you are working, you can plan a meal on a Sunday कि भाई हमारा Monday to Saturday का खाना ये बनने वाला है, इतना इतना लाना है. This is what is to be done, so that every day morning we don't have to think and then in hurry make something which is available.
Absolutely. I think planning is the key. And I am a huge advocate of planning because I understand women are working, they are multitasking. उसके बीच में अब ये भी फिर ये हो जाता है कि फ्रिज खोलो, जो सब्जी है बना दो. But if your child loves pav bhaji, I mean, make the pav bhaji. It is vegetables loaded. Why not? So maybe bread goes on that day. In my house, of course, they are happy eating with a chapati also. But not all children will like it. So planning is the key. But also when we plan so much, you also need to know your taste buds. And you also need to know what is it that your body is able to absorb well and process well. I have 2 daughters. One can't do without rice and one can't do without chapati. It's their body. They know it. What goes well with their heart and stomach. We all need to be able to listen to our body.
True. Let's talk about some biggest health trends that are going on social media currently. Are they actually helpful or just a hype? So, Indu ma'am, to begin with, collagen powders, green superfoods, vitamin IV drips that we hear a lot, are these actually useful or it's just a hype?
So collagen powder and green superfoods, they're okay. You can take it. But
Drips.
IV drips, one shouldn't take without the help of an expert. That should not be just taken without taking any
Yeah, I
consultation.
mean, just go to any
Yeah, chemist and buy that.
it,
And
or
no,
just go. There are nowadays some studios kind of a thing also, where only you go there for an IV drip.
yeah,
So
no, I would not recommend that at all. You need to really go to an expert, figure out what's the gap in you. First, figure that gap up, fill that gap up, and then only go for it. You can't just ride on it.
okay. Second one is, what's the trendy supplement that you think actually is useful?
Omega 3. Omega 3 in a big way because our brain really needs the fatty acid. And today's diet really doesn't have it. Homemade ghee बनना भी बहुत कम हो गया है. Like the ready-made ghee that we buy is also, I don't know how good the quality is, even though there are a lot of claims. But yes, omega-3 fatty acid is something that one needs to really look into and consume it.
So any health benefits? I mean, where all? I mean, how is the omega-3 useful?
Omega-3 is required every which way, right? Main is your brain. Okay, your brain requires omega-3. That's why if you are constantly taking fat deficient diet, later in the life you will have dementia and Alzheimer's because brain is starved of good fat. If you're not replacing the bad fat, if that ratio is not appropriate, you will have health challenge. So any kind of problem, degeneration happening in your body, one of the main component is omega-3, which needs to be supplied to your body, which needs to be given to your body. So whether it's muscle repair or brain health or your bone health, every which way you need the omega-3. Inflammation in the body will need, your heart health needs omega-3. So that's one supplement everyone needs to.
How people actually fact check health trends on social media before jumping onto it and actually following it? How do we check it?
My personal belief is your energy level is your biggest benchmark. If you're constantly feeling low on energy, you need to get your tests done. Okay? Your first thing is you get your blood test done, go to an expert, discuss it, and then take supplements accordingly. Your energy levels are your first level of markers.
So, actually, I mean, very good point to be taken. It is many a times ignored. I mean, we feel that आज काम का stress ज़्यादा है, आज इधर कुछ हुआ है, so we are stressed and we are feeling low. But we don't actually analyze कि भाई ये daily हो रहा है. So daily at the end of the day, we are feeling that tiredness and lethargy and difficult to do anything more further, or we get irritable by the end of the day. So we have to actually sit and थिंक एंड एनालाइज कि भाई ये एक दिन का नहीं, हम हर रोज इसी प्रोसेस से जा रहे हैं. सो इट इज़ अ टाइम, हाई टाइम टू गो एंड गेट योर सेल्फ चेक्ड एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली विद द एक्सपर्ट सिट एंड डिस्कस कि क्या लेना है.
Absolutely. Dr. Apurva, our body has a beautiful defense mechanism. आप देखो, जब आपके सर पे प्रेशर आता है, जब आप ट्रैवल करते हो, आप सारी सारी रात जागते ही हो ना, आपकी एनर्जी ड्रॉप नहीं होती है, इनफैक्ट बढ़ जाती है. आप इतने एक्साइटेड होते हो, जहाँ पहुँचते हो वहाँ पे भी आप 10 दिन खुश रहते हो. रोज आप शायद 4,000 स्टेप्स नहीं कर रहे होगे, आप कहीं टूर पे गए हो, 15,000 16,000 स्टेप्स हो जाते हैं. इंटरनेशनल ट्रिप्स 20,000 स्टेप्स यूँ होते हैं. योर एनर्जी डजंट ड्रॉप. बट इफ ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस your energy is dropping and nothing is making you happy, smallest thing is giving you anxiety, you need to get alarmed. You need to start looking for checkups.
Actually, this point needs to be taken, that we need to check the warning signs which our body is actually constantly giving us. We say that अरे पता ही नहीं चला, अचानक हार्ट अटैक हो गया या अचानक स्ट्रोक हो गया. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. बॉडी कीप्स ऑन गिविंग अस दीज सिग्नल्स, वी फेल टू अंडरस्टैंड देम.
हमने सुनना बंद कर दिया है. हमने शांति से बैठ के अपनी बॉडी का सुनना बंद कर दिया है. Actually, even a pain is body's way of drawing your attention. कि भैया मेरे यहाँ दुख मेरे को attention दो. Suddenly you will feel you got up and you have a lower back pain. क्यों? Your body, that's a way. The pain is a way of communicating to you that give me attention. Pain is of course a very big word, but even smallest thing, सही टाइम पे नींद नहीं आना, भूख नहीं लगना, प्यास नहीं लगना या बहुत ज़्यादा प्यास लगना, बार बार वॉशरूम जाना, these are all body's communication to you. बस हमने सुनना बंद कर दिया है.
The bottom line is listen to your body, listen to the warning signs.
Absolutely.
So it's time for some rapid fire.
Sure.
Indu ma'am, I'll just throw some common nutrition myths and you can burst them whether they are correct or wrong. Should we start?
Definitely.
First, supplement can replace healthy diet.
No, never. Food is food. It cannot replace. Very word supplement means it's additional. So it cannot. It's a myth.
Okay. Taking too much vitamins can be dangerous.
Yeah, that's a fact. Too much vitamins. And also what is very important is you need to know the quality of supplements. The source. Are they water soluble? For example, protein. Does the protein have PDCAS score 1? PDCAS means protein digestibility corrected amino score. Is it 1 or what? So these facts need to be checked. The supplement quality needs to be checked.
So these are mentioned on the boxes? I mean, how do people check?
Yes, people should mindfully read them. Find out, yeah.
Supplements can improve your mental clarity and focus?
Yeah, they can. Because if you're deficient, you will have mind fog. And of course, when the deficiency is taken care of, you're nutritionally rich, then it definitely takes care of it.
You should stop taking supplements once you feel better?
Depends how your lifestyle is. If you're constantly gonna be stressed or you are work loaded, it's like this. When you have your exams, definitely you study 24/7. Otherwise, your normal routine you don't. When you are going away or when you are recovering from sickness, you're eating very mindfully. It's the same thing. You plan your supplements, adjust your supplements accordingly.
I mean, a good thing I would say that so many a times I've seen that, generally it's a passing statement by the gynecologists that post your 40, just start having calcium supplements and this and that. But we don't pay so much of attention unless and until we have some issues. So, I mean, I feel many a times that people focus कि अभी मैं बीमार पड़ा हूँ तो मैं डॉक्टर के पास जाऊंगा, बट नोबडी फोकसेस ऑन द वेलनेस पार्ट ऑफ इट कि मैंने अभी खाया तो मुझे डॉक्टर के पास जाने की जरूरत ही ना पड़े.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल, calcium is the biggest example. One, you should check the calcium quality. Okay. Do you know calcification in the heart is a very big cause of heart attacks? Where is that coming from? It is gulping your supplements without really checking the source of it and unknowingly. So, of course, supplements are very important. I've been telling you from the very beginning, but you also again need to listen to your body. Your body will tell you. If not, regular checkups will tell you what you need, what you don't need. A lot of people, when they take omega-3 fatty acid and they get breakouts or they get blisters in their tongue, which means it's not really suiting, then they need to figure out other sources. So nothing can be fixed. You need to listen to your body. Just like rice may suit you and it may not suit you. You may feel bloated. Same thing. Supplement is again supplement of food. Doing it because the food is not supplying nutrition. So you need to be mindful about it.
So you need to check your blood levels, whether after having those supplements for a limited time, then check it whether you actually need it or you need it at a lower dose, or no, still we need it more for 2-3 months. So we need to have a check, which we generally miss to कि हाँ हमने ये ले लिया है तो levels are okay now, we don't have to take it again.
Absolutely. If you're living in a city where there's too much pollution, you're living in manufacturing, closer to a manufacturing unit where the pollution level is very high, obviously your body is going through a lot of oxidative stress. You need coenzyme Q10, you need something like that, antioxidants to take care of yourself. But if you're living in a clean, mountain, hilly area where there's no pollution, obviously the oxidative stress is very
Yes.
less. You don't need to keep gulping the supplements. So all these factors need to be considered.
So before we wrap up, Indu ma'am, one golden rule that you think every one of us should follow?
The golden rule is look at your life, listen to your body, look at what you're eating, take some stock, maybe write down couple of days, because many people just say, oh, I eat enough, I eat mindfully. But no, you don't. Morning, you've just eaten some upma, then you have had 2 cups of tea, then some lunch outside, then evening a bhel or a sev puri, and then night you've gorged on dal chawal. Where is the nutrition? So take stock of what you've been doing, and then look at the nutrition that will prevent you from sicknesses. Vitamin D, B12, multivitamin, and proteins. A lot of people think that only when I'm going to the gym, I need protein. Only when I'm working out, I need protein. No, your body needs protein 1 gram per body kilogram. It's required every day. So when you have taken stock, when you've measured what you've eaten through the day, it will tell you how much of protein you've taken. And if you're protein deficient, even the absorption of micronutrient is not going to be done properly. So definitely be mindful. Your goal of life is to prevent yourself from sickness. Not कि जब बीमार पड़ेंगे तब देखेंगे, अभी तो कुछ नहीं होता. So that's what the golden rule is.
The whole focus I feel is we should focus on prevention rather than focusing on illness or the diagnosis, where in fact the cost involved is also more
Yes.
in diagnosing what is the issue. Instead of that, focus on prevention. And as you mentioned, some foundation supplements like D3, B12, omega, multivitamin, protein. This should be, I would say, a part of everybody's routine.
Yes.
So that we are away from the illnesses.
Yeah, I want everyone to understand that when you are actually entering a hospital, even though they are bracketed like wellness industry, they're sickness industry. Wellness is nutrition, and that's where you need to focus on, so that you remain well. And that's exactly what I want to pray for everyone today. May everyone remain well.
Thank you so much, Indu ma'am, for this insightful tips that you've given me. I am very sure all our viewers would have made a note of it and jotted it down that, okay, these are the things we should understand. Planning is very important. Concentrate on wellness and prevention rather than illness. So these all takeaways are very, very important. And thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Apurva.
If you've liked this episode, please do subscribe and like to What the Health. Stay tuned for more such unfiltered information on health. Stay healthy, stay curious. Thank you so much.